Today we're going to get into the line tools. Adobe Illustrator gives you 5 tools to choose from for adding line work to your art. The first one is the line segment tool. Now with this one you can click and drag, you can hold shift to constrain your proportions vertically, horizontally, and at 45 degrees. You can just click and drag and randomly add lines. You can click and tell it exactly what you want it to do and what direction you want it to go. So at 180 it's going to go to the left, and at 0 degrees it would go to the right. So that's the basic functionality of the line segment tool. All right, the next tool we're going to get into is the arc tool. So with the arc tool, here again you can click, you can tell it what size you want your line to be. We got 3 inches by 3 inches. Over here you can tell it at what point you want it to originate from. So I have it from the top left, so it's going to curve down and to the right. I've got it set to open and on an x-axis, so we'll just see what that does. So here again, that curved down from left to right. So if I click it again and I change type from open to closed, you see it closes it and actually makes it a pie shape. And if I change the axis, you'll see it curves the other way. So it arced out instead of under. Let's see. And then as we adjust this convex, you can see it makes it more square. And you can see here, convex to the right is going to round it out versus concave, which is to the left, which is going to curve it in. All right. The next tool we get is the spiral tool. So if you just click randomly, give it a radius of 4 inches, a decay of 75, segments is 1,000. We'll see what that looks like. All right. It's kind of a golden square ratio or a shell. And if I change the decay to 25%, then you can see we get very little curve out of it. So if you hold Control and Shift, what does Shift do? It's allowing me to change the radius of the center of the opening. And if I hold Option, then it will just scale it according to what it is, adding more spirals to the middle as we go. The next tool we have to work with is the rectangular grid tool. This is perfect if you need to create graphs or anything like that where you're needing to convey data. I've got it set at 6 inches wide by 4 inches tall, anchoring here on the top left of where I clicked in my document. I've got 5 horizontal and 5 vertical dividers. So we're going to change the skew to 0 on both of these and select use outside rectangle as frame. Okay, so what that means is our outside rectangle is the box that holds everything in. If I don't have that selected, then these lines are all individual, and we'll take a look at that as well. Let me just move this down. Okay, 6 by 4, and if I deselect use outside rectangle as frame, then you can see that it is just another one of the strokes in the file. All right. Another thing you can do with it is creating more abstract forms. If I drag this over to skew the top and I drag this one to skew the right, I'm still anchored on the top left, and you'll see it has just as many lines. It just gives you a different way of representing something that you needed to represent with a grid. All right, and last is the polar grid tool. So if we just click here in the center and we do 6 by 6, being that it's polar, it's round, we'll make it just a perfect circle and see how that looks first. Concentric dividers, we'll just go 5 and 5. We'll leave the skews at 0 and say OK. So each of these lines is editable on its own. The circles are complete circles, so they're not split up in quarters. You can change the line weight of each individually and completion. So we can even change the color and change the weight. So there's one way of using that. Another thing you can do is just changing the proportions. Change that to 4, and then just to skew it, see what it does. Skew it just a little bit there to the right on the in and out, and then also in the top and bottom. It gives us something very different. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for good measure, and let me know in the comments below if you're able to use some of these grid tools. How is it that you use them? I'd love to hear about it. All right, take care, and we hope you have a great week.